Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the National Honor Society Induction Ceremony for 2015-2016. My name is Frank Prinzi. I teach English 10 here at the high school, and I also have the privilege of being the faculty advisor for the Wellsville chapter of the National Honor Society. Thank you very much for attending this evening. I'd like to acknowledge our three distinguished guests this evening before we get started. Superintendent of Wellsville Central School District, Ms. Kim Mueller. And our principal at the high school, Mr. Jeffrey White. And our distinguished guest speaker, Mr. Richard Hackford. I would also like to thank you, the parents and families of these students, for your hard work, your encouragement, and support at home. Support that is an integral part of making all of this possible. When you think about it, this evening really is the culmination of many evenings at home, maybe starting back in elementary school. Many evenings maybe at the kitchen table or the dining room table, helping your son or daughter with homework. Years of making sure your children stay on the right track. Years of encouraging, guiding, cajoling, and I'm sure at times praying that they will stay focused and encouraged and engaged in learning. As we begin this ceremony, let's keep in mind that the National Honor Society is the nation's premier organization established to recognize outstanding high school level students. To qualify for membership, each student must maintain a 93% or better grade point average throughout their high school career. More than just an honor roll, NHS serves to honor students who have demonstrated excellence in the areas of scholarship, leadership, service, and character. These principal values have been associated with membership in the organization since its inception in 1921. Today, it is estimated more than 1 million students participate in National Honor Society. NHS has chapters found in all 50 states and across Canada. Chapter membership not only recognizes students for their academic accomplishments, but challenges them to develop further through active involvement in school activities and community service. The club motto is Noblesse Oblige, which in modern English suggests that anyone who possesses special talents or gifts is required to make the best use of those gifts, that he or she is duty-bound to do his or her best. The mission of National Honor Society is twofold: to foster the development of its members through the utilization of their special gifts and talents, and to take those gifts and talents and use them for the enrichment of our school culture and the society in which the school functions. The great writer and thinker G.K. Chesterton said, "Education is simply the soul of a society as it passes from one generation to another." In other words, when we witness the development of these students, the academic growth they show from year to year, we are actually witnessing something inherently meaningful in our culture and also deeply purposeful to the human experience, the recognition of significance. It is now my distinct honor and privilege to introduce the current members of Wellsville's chapter of National Honor Society. And please do not hold your applause until the end. I'll introduce the members one at a time on stage. Our first member, senior member, Ms. Grace Irway. Senior member, Ms. Peyton Kai. Senior member, Mr. Ethan Lamphere. Senior member, our recording secretary, Leah Chrisman. Senior member, Mr. James Emser. And senior member, our vice president this year, Christina Good. It's now my pleasure to turn over the rest of the evening to our 2015-2016 National Honor Society President, Mr. Luke Seelig.
Hello. I just want to start by saying thank you to everybody who's come here tonight to recognize these highly qualified students who have been selected by the faculty of our school for successfully completing their candidacy and are being inducted as new members of our NHS chapter here at Wellsville. It is an honor to stand here today among this great group of students, and more importantly, this great group of people, as the president of this chapter. I've grown up with most of these new inductees, whether it be in school, in sports, or just in the community in general. And I can tell you that all of these inductees are well deserving of their recognition today. Our chapter has been proud to have been inducting new members into NHS for many years, with a continuing emphasis on excellence in school and in the community. Not only our members have strong academic records that made them eligible for induction in the first place, but they participate and lead in sports, clubs, and student organizations, and serve the community in many different projects and activities, such as bell ringing for the Salvation Army, leveling books at the library, helping out at the SPCA, serving at Elks Club breakfast every month, and many more things. The members of our chapter serve as role models for other students to get them to strive for excellence. We are proud to welcome these new reinforcements to bring new energy in support of our continuing work as NHS members. Now I would like to introduce our guest speaker tonight, Mr. Hackford. He is an English 9 teacher at our school, and Mr. Hackford.
This week my students are giving presentations on true love for Romeo and Juliet. And one of my students, this poor sweetheart of a girl, she was up here trying to give her speech and she was like this and like this and like and terrified. And at this time I thought how adorable. And as soon as my foot hit that stage, I became just as terrified. Please excuse me if I'm a stuttering and stumbling mess. Hello, and first of all, thank you all for having me here to celebrate with you tonight. When Mr. Prinzi asked me to be a guest speaker for this important occasion, a few thoughts ran through my mind almost immediately. The first thought was a resounding and crystal clear acknowledgement of the situation. One more opportunity to preach to Sydney Sisson. The second thought was a little less pronounced, but just as clear. What tie am I going to wear? Became an easy decision after a while. The third, however, was less of a vocalization and more of a feeling of inadequacy. Looking at the list with all of your names on it, you students who are being inducted to the National Honor Society tonight, I couldn't help feel like you deserved someone infinitely more extraordinary. Someone who could inspire you with his life story. Someone who could be a role model for your future successes. I wanted Barack Obama. I wanted Mark Zuckerberg or even a hologram of Steve Jobs, Serena Williams or Taylor Swift, or at the very least, Fergie. But Mr. Prinzi assured me that they're all very busy tonight. So, I'll just impart what little wisdom I've gained during my decade as a member of the National Honor Society myself, and leave you with the same challenge that was put before me. So may the preaching commence. I was inducted into this prestigious organization 10 years ago this month. Unlike many of you, in high school I wasn't a star athlete. I wasn't a talented musician or the president of any clubs or organizations. I wasn't wildly involved in my community either, as many of you are. Unless grades, though. I thought that that must be why the National Honor Society wanted me. I thought the National Honor Society must be one of those secret societies where people go out to plot the future of the world. That, or it was just like one of those honor roll certificates that I've been collecting since freshman year. You know, some pretty piece of paper that I could attach to a college application. It'd feel good. In either case, I was excited to be included, and my mom was so proud of me that she invited half our family to come see me on stage. Many of you are here to do the same. During my induction ceremony, we lit candles and we had respectable community members speak on our behalf. We each got a little pin and an ID card. It was very official. And I remember it with this ethereal sense of becoming a part of something that I didn't fully understand or appreciate. You see, when I joined the National Honor Society, I thought the honor part of the title meant that I was being honored for my intelligence, for my hard work, for my dedication. Many of you are probably under that same impression right now. And while it's true that we are very proud of you in all that you've achieved, there's so much more to it than that, as has been said earlier today. As my classmates and I began our first community service project and were asked to start logging our volunteer hours, I realized that the NHS wasn't honoring me for my positive qualities as a student, but rather it was challenging me to use those qualities for the betterment of those around me. I was being asked to be a leader, to stand apart from the crowd who were doing the easy thing so that I might do the right thing. In other words, I was being asked to be honorable. Instead of just being and continuing to be the so-called smart kid, I had a whole new set of expectations. I was expected to be a better person. I was expected to use my intelligence, my work ethic, and my dedication as a means to an honorable end. Now, I'd be lying if I said that this guiding principle was the driving force behind my life and my decisions that ultimately led to me becoming an educator. But I like to think that I'm where I am now because of some intrinsic desire to want to help people. A desire that I didn't know that I had back then, much like many people up here might not know, but that someone must have seen in me. I'm even more sure of that thought today, now that I'm fortunate enough to be on the other side of this process. The 14 inductees who sit before us today have proven time and time again that they are capable of setting themselves apart from their peers, that they are ready and willing to be leaders, role models, and inspirations for others. In a generation that has become notorious for its sense of entitlement, avoidance of hard work, and general self-absorption, these individuals are outliers. They are the exception that proved the rule. Most of these inductees were among my first group of students here at Wellsville 3 years ago, and I have to say, they spoiled me. Even as a freshman, they were displaying their ability to persevere when others had given up. They were asking their own thoughtful questions and being courageous enough to answer mine while others were silent. Their papers were 3 pages when I had only asked for 1. They were volunteering to perform roles for Romeo and Juliet. They were asking for more independent reading and fixing my technological blunders from time to time. Some of them even left permanent marks on room 209, as Aaron Lawson's name is still taped to my ceiling, and Rachel Farrelloro's poem is still framed on my wall. They were not successful in English because they were smart, or because they were good in English, or even because they prioritized my class above other classes. Instead, they were successful because they prioritized their education. They always made the time to learn and wonder and grow, even when it was hard or inconvenient. In short, they were every teacher's dream. I'm sure that the parents out there would agree with me, at least most days. Today, we are here to acknowledge these 14 students for their exceptional work, dedication, and continued effort to be the best people that they can be. We are here to celebrate their successes in the past and the infinitely difficult decisions that led them to this moment here in the present. More importantly, though, we're here to challenge them to be even better in the future. They've spent a lifetime proving that they can be responsible, hardworking, and kind. They've shown to are here to ask them to take their natural talents and their hard-earned skills, their well-developed sense of morality, and their tendency to address problems rather than ignore them, and choose the path that is more difficult, the path that requires even more perseverance and hard work, but also the path that leads to a better, more thoughtful, and more tolerant world for all of us. We are asking them to be honorable, and through doing so, we are asking them to make our society a little better off than it was before them. Whether they become the next president of the United States, or a business leader, or a pop superstar, or just a humble teacher, we see in them the potential to achieve great and honorable things, not just for themselves, but for those around them as well. I challenge each of them to do just that.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Hackford. It's a privilege to hear your insights. All right, now we're going to shift gears a little bit. We're going to welcome Wave to the stage, Wellsville Acapella Vocal Ensemble, our award-winning acapella group, and to sing a couple songs for us and our musical interlude. Wave, everybody.
in the moment, still my life can get no love without sacrifice. If anything should happen, I guess I wish you well. A little bit of heaven, a little bit of hell. It's the hardest story that I have ever told. With no love, no glory, happy endings, gone forevermore. And I feel as if I'm wasted. Yeah, I wasted every day. 2 o'clock in the morning, something's on my mind. Can't get no rest, keep walking around. If I pretend that nothing ever went wrong, I can get to my sleep, I think we just carry on. It's the hardest story that I have ever told. No love, no glory, happy endings, gone forevermore. And I feel as if I'm wasted. Yeah, I wasted every day. Little bit of love. Little bit of love, 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 little
Thank you, Wave, and thank you, Mr. Hampton. All right, now we are going to, our current members here are going to speak on the four values that NHS holds: character, scholarship, leadership, and service. First, we will have Christina Good, our Vice President.
I was given the service part of NHS Code. The definition of service is an act of a helpful activity. Helping your community throughout service opportunities allows you to have experiences that impact you as a person, and as a result, many people can relate to you better, and you find yourself learning so much from each opportunity. I myself have had the chance to participate in multiple community service opportunities connected through school as well as simply volunteering for my community. I am very grateful for these experiences, which have allowed me to become more involved with the community. These service opportunities have taught me many essential skills such as communication, cooperation, and skills regarding how to do something that I can use down the road. I found a quote by Gandhi that I think is a good representation of what National Honor Society values in service opportunities. He said, quote, "The best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in the service of others." This act of service is often thought of as a donation of time to an organization in need, in order to help those involved. But what is often left out is the realization of how much this act can often affect the volunteer as much, if not more, than the people in need. Service opportunities both in and out of school contribute to the overall well-being of our community and our experiences that result in benefits being received from both sides, which is something significant and unique.
Thank you, Christina. Now we're going to have Ethan Life here talk about scholarship. Ethan Life.
One of the requirements NHS members must meet is a 93% average throughout high school. It's no secret that all NHS members are bright, intelligent students. Scholarship is one of the 4 pillars of the National Honor Society, and each and every one of these inductees has expressed this quality through their first 2 or 3 years of high school. But scholarship is more than just being smart. Scholarship denotes a commitment to learning. Students are willing to spend hours outside of the regular school day reading and studying in order to succeed. These students value learning and knowledge above most other things, and are willing to go out of their way to learn new things every day. Students who demonstrate scholarship are committed, dedicated, and hardworking, displaying excellence in everything they do. I found 2 great quotes about scholarship. The first one being, knowledge is one great element in life, which leads to the highest success, and it can be acquired in only one way, through diligence and effort. The second quote is, learning furnishes the lamp by which we read the past, the torch guiding us to understand the present, and the light that illuminates the future. I believe these quotes perfectly describe core concepts about scholarship, and I encourage these new members of NHS to follow that light and let it lead you to a brighter future. Thank you.
All right, our third value is leadership, and I'm going to talk a little bit about that. All the inductees here today have been chosen in large part because of their leadership in the classroom, maintaining a 93 average. They have probably always been the smart kids, and they've probably gotten equal amounts of praise and jealousy from others as they've gone through school. These are the things that come with being a leader, and if you're going to be one, you just have to accept that. Without leadership, in whatever situation you can think of, things just won't get done. Leaders take initiative in school, training and guiding others toward the common goal of success. They take initiative in a community, starting service projects, taking leadership roles in the community's organizations. These are the things that leaders do. Leaders will not hesitate to step forward and make their voice heard in whatever situation they find it necessary. I bet a lot of your parents can attest to that. And I know some of your personality types don't exactly thrust you into broadcasting your opinions all over the school. I get that. What you can do, though, is lead by example. Be a good person, do the right thing. I mean, I could insert whatever cliche you want here. I'm going to end here with a quote from Ray Kroc. The quality of a leader is reflected in the standards they set for themselves. Now for our final value, we have Leah Chrisman, our recording secretary.
Okay, so I have a character for my pillar. Character is a distinguishing factor amongst people. It is what makes up the individual goodness in all of us. It is being the same person regardless of the environment or the people that surround you, to be rather than to seem. It is how you treat those who can do nothing for you. Without character, self-respect would be an impossible thing to attain, let alone the respect granted by others. Character is achieved and not received. It is the product of consciously doing what you know to be right and striving to be the person you are made to be. The problem of character is a problem of self-control, of denying yourself the whims that provoke you to do what is wrong. Reputation is fleeting, and that is merely what people think of you. Character is what one actually is. By demonstrating such qualities as respect, trustworthiness, fairness, caring, and responsibility, we may hope to prove by example that we value character. As put by Abraham Lincoln, character is like a tree and reputation like a shadow. The shadow is what we think of it, and the tree is the real thing.
Thank you, Leah. Okay, now we're going to get to the tapping of the inductees. It is at this time that we proclaim to all in attendance that membership in the Wellsville High School's chapter of National Honor Society has been earned by these candidates through the effective demonstration of the 4 qualities that serve as standards for the society. Members of the chapter will now review these qualities for the candidates and everyone in attendance. We just did that. So now we're going to go on with the tapping. First up, we have Christina Good.
This first inductee is someone who fully demonstrates the value in combining hard work and determination in order to become successful. She has shown how her leadership and community service opportunities, along with her athletic background, have made her shine above her peers. This individual has also proven to be a great example of how even experiences throughout a busy family lifestyle can ultimately shape their character and provide leadership opportunities that can lead to success. Both leadership and community service opportunities have come out of her involvement with Aquajags, the local USA swim club. Due to her being a member since she was 11 years old, she has learned the significance of being part of a team where everyone helps one another. By coaching younger swimmers, she has also gained key leadership qualities over the course of her time with this program that will be useful down the road. Her time on the varsity swim team has additionally provided experiences to build her leadership skills throughout helping younger swimmers with the different skills associated with the sport. I have had the pleasure of swimming with this individual for 4 years and have witnessed how she has made herself into a great role model for the younger girls throughout her background in swimming, as well as her positive attitude and focus on outside matters such as academics. It is my great pleasure to welcome Gwendolyn Middle to the National Honor Society community.
Okay. Our next candidate demonstrates all the core values of an NHS Scholar. He has participated in numerous service projects as a former member of the local Boy Scout Troop 733. In his time with the troop, he participated in projects such as hillside erosion remediation and landscaping in the Sacred Heart Cemetery. He is the leader of his troop, assisting with attendance, keeping, and other duties. He is one of the most essential members on the AV team. He has been with AV for 5 years, working on all the school plays and musicals since 7th grade. With these skills, he has operated at the lights and sound for 2 productions of the summer theater program at the Y, at the David A. Howe Library. He holds a leadership position in WAVE as the treasurer of the group. Ladies and gentlemen, Matthew Sanders.
This is a student who demonstrates all the qualities that NHS looks for. She's always looked for ways to be an active member of her community. She's done community service through the Elks Club and with her soccer team. She demonstrates leadership in the 3 sports that she plays, where she has been voted to be captain multiple times. Along with sports, she participates in other extracurricular activities at the school, including student council, where she is the treasurer for her junior class. So it's my honor to present the next member of NHS, Erin Lawson.
I would like to welcome the next inductee into the National Honor Society because he demonstrates all qualities upheld within the program. He gives all the time and effort needed to complete every task to the best of his abilities. This student is a spectacular individual that dedicates much of his time to his church. He helps make sure the service runs smoothly, spreads the word of his church's cause, and is quick to volunteer and help with any job that is needed. This student also participates in the Leo Club, which is an organization that does various projects to help the community. I believe that he will add value to the NHS program. It is my honor to welcome Gabriel Raptis.
This next student exemplifies every one of the 4 pillars of NHS. She has maintained a spot on high honor roll throughout high school, while also actively involving herself in the school and in the community. She has volunteered at the community center, helped with youth dance recitals, timed runners and bikers at both the Balloon Rally 5K and the Ridge Walk, assistant coached flag football cheering, volunteered at the SPCA, helped run the Pirate Party at the David A. Howe Library, helped clean up and redo Toller Field, and rang bells during Christmas for the Salvation Army. Also, she has been the president of Leo's Club for 3 years, a youth branch of the Lions Club, in which she has served the senior citizen dinner at the Trinity Lutheran Church, collected used glasses for repair and donation, and helped run the Wellsville Minstrel Show. Her impressive resume doesn't stop at her service, though. She has been her class's president for student council for 3 years in a row, demonstrating strong leadership abilities. She is a 3-sport athlete. She's involved in choir, orchestra, piano lessons, and history club as well. Being involved in so many activities while maintaining a strong grade point average shows this student's impressive time management skills and responsibility. She is a student who demonstrates scholarship, character, service, and leadership, making her a perfect fit for NHS. I am pleased to welcome Sydney Sisson into the National Honor Society.
It is always the quiet ones, or so they say. Those wallflowers that sit on the sidelines, silently observing the loudmouths and attention seekers that surround them, are often more often than not suspected of having ulterior motives, or perhaps maniacal plots dancing through their heads as they sit and watch their fellow men make fools of themselves. And who knows, that may very well be the case. However, it's often forgotten that these unobtrusive members of society are frequently some of the most brilliant, well-rounded, and strikingly intelligent people you could have the pleasure to know. This inductee is the epitome of these exceptional qualities. Far from being a recluse in any way, shape, or form, this student has taken more than 60-plus hours of her time volunteering at the ASPCA, nurturing and caring for animals in our county that have been repeatedly abandoned and ignored. This, of course, fills up only her free time. Nearly every day after school, the student gains her abounding leadership credentials, tutoring and gently encouraging those in middle school who have plenty of potential, if not the drive required to do well in the academic setting. Not only this, but for many years prior, said student spent countless hours building nearly military-grade stamina and confidence in the marching band, quietly lending a hand as trumpet section leader to those younger members who have a harder time keeping up with the grueling yet rewarding practices. Trumpet, of course, being only about one of about 10 instruments mastered by this particular inductee. Academically, I can't really say much except that this student is one of the only people I know to have maintained a 3-digit average thus far in high school, whipping through rigorous schoolwork as if it were nothing more than mere child's play. So sure, you could say quite ignorantly that the quiet ones are nothing but trouble, but if other wallflowers are anything like this outstanding young person, then I'd say we could use a lot more of them hanging around. It's my pleasure to welcome Miss Madison Ewing to the National Honor Society.
Before coming into our school, the student has demonstrated her innate gift of charity and leadership, 2 core values of NHS. This student has spent most of her young life giving back to the community. When living over 1,000 miles from here, she and her family would spend their weekends humbly picking up trash on the beach in order to protect the wildlife there and preserve the beach's serenity. After moving here to New York, this student helped design and renovate an abandoned schoolhouse to give it greater use to its community. She's also shown leadership by participating in many school clubs, such as audio and visual, and students who assist with technology, by guiding their peers, often without the presence of an advisor. This student takes great pride in being able to lend her hands to those around her, even if it is in the most humble ways. With my great pleasure, I welcome Dakota Dickerson to the NHS.
Okay. This next inductee strongly demonstrates the values of service and leadership that are expected of all NHS members, along with character and scholarship as well. She has accumulated over 30 hours of community service, most of which with Catholic churches in both Wellsville and Belmont. She's participated in anything from community cleanup days to canned food drives to soup kitchens. She spent many hours last spring tending to the grounds of St. Mary's Cemetery in Belmont and transferring the cemetery's committee's old files and documentations to a digital copy. She's volunteered at the Hart House and Allegheny Arts 5K. She is a public relations director in WAVE and is one of the strongest leaders of the group. She prides herself on being approachable and understanding others. Please welcome Emily Tomac to the stage.
This next inductee has all the qualities that NHS looks for in a member. She constantly has a full schedule between a job, sports, clubs, community service, and maintaining a high grade point average. Through ICS, she's been able to participate in a variety of community service events. All throughout high school, she has taken many opportunities to help those in need, including volunteering at the SPCA, the Ridge Walk, and volunteering with her soccer team. She's also a member of the ski club, art club, and multiple sports. With that, it's my pleasure to present your next member of NHS, Katie O'Grady.
This next individual participates in a variety of activities and works hard in school. Some activities include many sports. She also engages in several rigorous and advanced classes. She goes out of her way to help others and participate in an array of community service projects, such as helping with the youth programs and improving the community. This student is a leader and displays many outstanding characteristics. She is very committed and excels in all that she does. This student upholds and demonstrates the values that we stress here in the National Honor Society. I am proud to welcome Brianna Herrera.
This next student is a living example of hard work paying off, both inside the classroom and outside. Due to a narrow miss of the grade benchmark last year, the student was not accepted into the National Honor Society his junior year. However, throughout last year, the student was committed to his work and focused on improving his GPA. Tonight, he is here with us as a new inductee of NHS. His determination in the classroom demonstrates his scholarship, but the student is much, much more than a GPA. He is very involved with the sports community, being one of Wellsville's most talented athletes. He plays soccer, basketball, and golf, and coaches a youth league for basketball, along with officiating youth basketball, soccer, and softball. This student, along with the rest of the varsity basketball team, volunteered at the Ronald McDonald House in Rochester last December as well. This year, he captained the Wellsville soccer team to a Section 5 title, the third in school history. He is a skilled player, but more importantly, a great teammate and an even better person. Personally, I know him very well. He is a very bright student who cares about others and gives back to the community. I am proud to have been his classmate and teammate, but equally proud to call him my friend. I am honored to welcome Cooper Buckley into the National Honor Society.
There are some people who you just know from the very first time you meet them that they're destined to be ridiculously successful. They have that certain air about them that just screams future innovator to cure cancer or next in line to fix world hunger. Most of all, this rare brand of humans are generally good people in the most pure sense, which to me is the most impressive feat one can pull off. This inductee embodies these specific and coveted qualities to a T. Having spent many hours mentoring and instructing young musicians over the summer, instilling within them an appreciation for the arts and giving them skills they will have for the rest of their lives, this student knows the true meaning behind community service. On their own time, this student has used their personal musical skills to lead multiple sections in the Wellsville Marching Line since about 6th grade, and has made themselves into a fundamental asset for school concerts as the borderline professional piano accompanist. Besides this, the student spends many after-school hours working for the Literacy Bus program, mentoring middle schoolers and helping them to realize their potential, all while keeping their own average in the triple-digit range year after year. The rest of the time, this inductee has helped keep the school newspaper alive and running as a primary editor, which helps me an awful lot, while exercising some creative genius as a layout specialist as well. Throw in some Christmas caroling for the Salvation Army and some extra volunteer hours at the Hart Comfort House, and you've got a student whose well-roundedness surpasses many, and whose time and intelligence could not possibly be used to any higher purpose. All that being said, the next time you happen to come across such a person as this, whose unending potential and heart of gold can be seen from a mile away, I'd recommend that you snatch your hand because goodness knows they're few and far between. The National Honor Society is happy to welcome Rachel Fair-Laurel into the room.
By committing her time and service to various clubs and organizations, this student has well beyond proved her worthiness of being inducted into our chapter. This student has spent many years giving to her church by volunteering to its yearly vacation Bible school. Not only helping children with crafts and snacks, she has helped teach the gospel of God through reciting verses, leading games, and also acting in Bible-related skits. In her community, this student has helped raise the most money for the Jones Memorial Hospital by spending 10 hours selling raffle tickets. In addition, she has assisted her peers in collecting coats to give to those less fortunate. In her school, she is actively a part of her grade's student council as treasurer. She is also a part of various clubs in her school, such as Scholastic Challenge, Odyssey of Mind, The Owl, and Students Against Destructive Decisions. Also, she is captain of her girls' tennis team. The student has demonstrated the fundamental values of the National Honor Society by astonishingly prioritizing her time amongst grades, clubs, and community service. Please welcome Danielle Guilford.
This final inductee is someone who demonstrates all the main criteria the National Honor Society promotes. She has clearly shown how both leadership and community service opportunities have enabled her to not only help with the given situation, but how she has additionally crafted each of those situations into learning experiences. 3 of her leadership opportunities that stand out include being a part of Odyssey of the Mind for several years, being a team player on the varsity volleyball team, and helping her classmates with some of school's daily challenges. Throughout these leadership experiences, she has also shown the result of combining commitment with something that you love with hard work, which when combined can complete the task at hand and lead to success. Several community service experiences, such as volunteering for her church, soup kitchens, comfort houses, the local SPCA and dance studio, the Legion, the Wellsville Montessori, and the elementary school have all created a deeper meaning than the service itself. This individual strives to be a good role model, and I believe has proven to be one through expressing the service and leadership opportunities' importance, being responsible, and by showing her respect to her peers and others around her. It's my pleasure to welcome Skylar Sisson to the National Honor Society.
Congratulations to all the new members of the National Honor Society here at Wellsville. At this time, we are going to, all new and existing members are going to recite the National Honor Society Pledge. Well, sorry. So I'm just going to go line by line. Repeat after me. I pledge to uphold the high purposes of the National Honor Society, to which I have been selected. I will be true to the principles for which it stands. And will maintain and encourage high standards of scholarship, service, leadership, and character. Thank you. Before we end the ceremony, I just want to thank a few people. I want to thank everybody out there for watching me stumble through this ceremony. I want to thank Mr. White, our principal, Ms. Mueller, our superintendent. I want to thank our guest speaker, Mr. Hackford. I want to thank Mr. Prinzi for being an awesome advisor and helping set everything up. We really couldn't do it without him. I want to thank Wade and Mr. Cody Hampton for providing us with a little entertainment. Lastly, I want to thank all of our new members and their families for providing us with 14 great new members to go out and be leaders in the school and the community. There's cake and refreshments in the back. Let's have one last round of applause for the new members of Wellsville High School's chapter. We're now going to light the candles. We're going to say the pledge again this time, and we're actually going to have the candles lit. So, I don't know who chose me to do this. All right. There we go. I pledge to uphold the high purposes of the National Honor Society, to which I have been selected. I will be true to the principles for which it stands. And will maintain and encourage high standards of scholarship, service, leadership, and character. Okay, so now we can go have cake in the back. Thank you to everybody for coming. And let's have one last round of applause for the new members of National Honor Society. Thank you.